this morning, in honor of our patron saint, St. Michael the Archangel, whose memory we celebrate in our Orthodox Church on November the 8th. And so in honor of St. Michael, today we're going to have the special service of the blessing of the 5 loaves. And the ancient service that we have of the 5 loaves reminds us of when Jesus fed 5,000 men together with their wives and children, and he fed them with 5 loaves, if you recall from Scripture. The blessing of the 5 loaves also reminds us of the agape feasts that the early Christians celebrated. We have mentioned before that in the early church, after divine liturgy and after everyone had received Holy Communion, then everyone would go and sit down and have a supper together. And that supper became known as the agape meal. And we all know what agape means. Agape is the highest form of love. The Greeks, who knew a couple of things, they had 3 words that meant love. Philia, which means friendship love. Eros, which means marital love. And agape, which is the highest form of love that God has for us, that we have for Him, and that we have for each other. And so that's why those suppers that the early Christians had together, expressing the bond of love that they had for one another, after having received the body and blood of Christ in communion, that supper became known as the supper of love. Also, they were called the agape suppers, or the agape meals, because the Christians would also invite the homeless, the hungry, the poor, to join them for that dinner after liturgy. Now, today, we don't have exactly a supper after liturgy, but pretty close to it sometimes. Pretty close, especially here at St. Michael's. We have a pretty nice coffee hour. We might call that our agape coffee hour, you think? Mm-hmm. Of course. Our agape coffee hour. Now, the service of the 5 loaves is usually offered on an anniversary, a celebration, special occasion. Today we offer it, of course, as we said, in honor of St. Michael, who we celebrate. We will all receive, at the end of the service, we'll all receive a piece of the blessed bread. And as we receive it with faith and with love, it can be very strong, very beneficial to meet our needs, to meet our physical, whatever physical infirmities or illnesses we may have. The holy bread indeed is powerful. So indeed, this service is another healing service in the Orthodox Church. It's amazing how many of our prayers and how many of our services are really healing services. So is the service of the 5 loaves that we celebrate this morning. So let's join together in prayer with love for one another, with faith, and with trust in the mercy of God.